So, hello class. I'm gonna finish up the notes. I tried to do this over the weekend, but kept messing up. So, I think I got it. We're looking at the notes from the previous class. I know today we did related rates, and we try to get some Justin Bieber in there. But let's go backwards and something that we haven't really done, and I want to go backwards and finish this up and explain to you guys a topic that I've been skipping. Okay. And essentially, it's a question that appears on most of the AP exams, but I wanted to know all the derivatives, all the derivative rules before I started this. But essentially, the question asks the equation of a line tangent to the graph at the indicated point. Something saying like, okay, I'm already lost, I'm confused. Okay. Anytime a question asks, find the equation of the line, you're going to start off with obviously the formula for the equation of the line. Remember, y'all, when you were in Algebra 1 or whatever, they taught you that the equation of a line was y equals mx plus b, which is true. But it's very complicated. Remember, you have to solve for m and then plug m in, get b. It's pretty complicated. What's even easier, which some of you learned over the summer, some of you learned last year, is called point-slope form. It looks more complicated, but it's so much easier to use. And point-slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, where x1 and y1 are some point, and m is some slope. So all you gotta do is find the point and the slope, and you have the equation of a line. So look at this problem: x to the third plus 2xy plus y to the third equals 3, and it says tangent to this point. Well, they already gave me the point, right? So essentially, I already figured out half of the problem. y1, looking at this, what's given to me, y1 is 2. So I could put 2 there. And x1 is negative 1, so I could do a minus 1, or a plus 1 here. Okay. So can you guess, when we're finding the equation line, x and y stay there. I'm missing just one more piece for my point-slope form. Do you know what it is? Yeah, m, slope. So I need to find the slope of this line at negative 1, 2. And somebody's saying, how do I find the slope of this line? What do I do? By the powers of calculus, I can use derivatives to figure out the slope at any point. Remember, that's the power of derivatives. I can find slope. So looking at this problem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the derivative. And when I take the derivative, I'll find the slope, or I'll solve for y prime. You notice that this is a problem that has two variables, right? X and y. So every time I derive a y, I'm going to have to add a y prime. So the derivative of x to the third is 3x squared. This 2xy, this is a product rule, so we may notice. I'm multiplying, let me use a different color. I'm multiplying the two terms, 2x, and multiplying that by y. So plus the derivative of the first one. Derivative of the first one is 2. I'll leave the second one alone, y. Plus, I will leave the first one alone, 2x, and the derivative of the second one. What's the derivative of the second term? What's the derivative of y? Yep, it's 1. But then, since I derived a y, I have to add a y prime. Plus y to the third. So I'm going to say the derivative of y to the third is 3y squared. And yeah, I took the derivative of y again, so I have to add a y prime. And then equals, what's the derivative of 3? Yeah, 0. And I know some of you made that mistake on your test, but as long as you've learned, I have to take the derivative of everything. So simplifying this problem, I have 3x squared plus 2y plus 2xy prime plus 3y squared prime plus 3y squared y prime equals 0. And again, if I'm going way too fast, you could pause this, you could slow it down, but that's the great thing about video. All right, now how do I solve for slope, or how do I solve for the derivative? Remember, I need to get y prime by itself. So you see how these terms have y prime? Let me use a different color. You see how these have a y prime, but these don't? So in implicit differentiation, I'm going to put the y primes on one side and the ones without a y prime on the other side. So 2xy prime plus 3y squared y prime equals, and I'm going to subtract the 3x squared and the 2y. So that's why we get these negatives here. Okay, so far? So close to getting y prime by itself, but I have two y prime terms. What I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a y prime. So do you see how on the left side I took away a y prime from both terms, leaving me with 2x plus 3y squared? And then as you remember, or hopefully you remember, to finish this, I factor out this parentheses. So y prime negative 3x squared minus 2y all over 2x plus 3y. Now, let me move this real quick. Now this doesn't solve the problem for me. Like I didn't solve for anything. Remember, I'm still trying to find m in my original problem. Well, to get m, or to get the slope, I need to plug in x and y into all these variables. And if I plug in x, I plug in y, I will get the slope at negative 1, 2. So because my original, let me just highlight or remember my original problem has a negative 1, 2. So everywhere I see x, I'm going to put negative 1. Okay? And everywhere I see y, I'll put 2. You can take a moment to write that down. I'm writing it down, but it's pretty slow on my mouse. Uh-oh, there's an announcement.
Aaron Reyes to the front desk. Aaron Reyes to the front desk. The bus is here.
Well, that's embarrassing. Anyways, let's finish this up. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Negative 2 times 2 is minus 4. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Simplifying this, I'm going to get negative 7 over 10. So what I just found is that the slope at negative 1, 2 at this function is negative 7 over 10. And since I want the equation of the line, since I found the point slope formula and plugged in x and y, I will plug in the last piece, the ultimate piece of this problem, negative 7 over 10. So what I just found, as complicated as it is the equation of a line that is tangent to this function at negative 1, 2. Sounds pretty simple, right? So moving on, I guess there is not much more that we need to do. But hopefully you understand. Let's just go back. And we'll do more practice in class. I know this week we're going to spend more time on related rates, but essentially, hopefully you found out the equation, how to find equations of lines tangent to the graph. Okay. So to repeat, you get the point slope form, you plug in x and y, which was right here. I derive the problem, in this case it's implicit differentiation, to get a y prime equals equation. I use my given xy to plug in, and I got a slope, negative 7 over 10, which I then reinserted in the point slope form and got an answer. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to watch some Justin Bieber, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see y'all tomorrow.